The Mackie Showbox is one of the coolest things I've seen released in a really, really long time. Now, Mackie did send me this about 3 months ago. They wanted my thoughts and opinions on it. I'm under no obligation to make a video or anything like that, but I do want to make a video because I think this is a super cool product. Now, when they first sent me this, they didn't say anything. It literally just showed up. I had no idea what it was. I literally sat in my living room for about 90 minutes trying to figure out all the possibilities of something like this. There's been a lot of similar products to this in the past, but nobody's put it together as well thought out or as cohesively as Mackie did. So let's go through the review here. Top to bottom, we're going to go through the whole thing with a live demo for you. Okay, first of all, if you are looking for pricing or specs for anything that you see in this video, we do have links down in the description below. Next, before we get into the live demo, I just want to set the context here of all the things I'm about to talk about. But who is this speaker for? Why did Mackie make this? First of all, like I said, I opened this box and it screams busking. If you're a musician, I used to do this a bunch, and you're portable and you just need a battery operated speaker, this does that. We're going to go on all the specs later. But the more I use it, the more it's like, I come from the event industry, so I worked with a lot of pop-up musicians in the corner of a standing reception or cocktail hour. Weddings often need some sort of DJ or sound system just for the ceremony, and sometimes there's only 20 to 30 people out there. Battery-powered speaker that can play music and is completely standalone. You can plug 2 microphones into this. That's a great option for that. But the more I use this and the more this thing sat at home, the more this thing actually fit into the music room. My kids use this. This is the permanent speaker that we use in our music room now. So there's a million different applications. Now let's go through the specs and the demo here so we can show you why I think it works for all those different circumstances. Okay, first of all, on the front of the speaker here, I took the cover off just so you can see exactly what's going on. On the lower end, there is an 8-inch speaker, and up high, there is a 1-inch high-frequency driver. Combined, they have about 400 watts of output. Now, the thing underneath it, there is a 12-hour battery built into the speaker as well. So for this whole demo in this video, I'm not connected to any power. We're just relying completely on battery power. In terms of portability and ergonomics of this thing, there is a handle up top here that you can see. There's no other handle, just the one handle. You can see that there is maybe a 5-degree tilt back on the speaker. If you need more than that, you can easily lay it down, something like that. So if you need it as a floor monitor, or this is how we have it left in the kids' room because it's on the floor and doesn't get knocked over as much. But then when it is in its lower position here, I do want to point out that the mixer that's located with this speaker is oriented up. So that is nice that if you're using it as a floor monitor, you can still see all the controls there. So that's super well done. In terms of like fit and finish and build quality and ergonomics of using the speaker practically, I think it's exactly what you would expect from a speaker like this. Okay, next we have the fun part. So on the back of this, you can see all the I/O and controls. So now let's go through that. So right away, the first button, which is kind of weird to be the very first button, is the front LED. If you want to turn off that green light on the front of the speaker, you can do it there. I like having the light on because it shows me what's happening with the speaker. If I'm out in front of it, if the light's on, that means the speaker's working. Next, we have a feedback eliminator. It's a built-in feedback eliminator. So how this works is it will automatically analyze your audio. If there is feedback, it's going to start notching frequencies for you at a high rate. So if you notice that your tone is really weak or thin, it's probably the feedback eliminator. I have strong opinions on these things, but if you're in a pinch, they do work. So if you're at a wedding and the thing's starting to squeal, or if it's just super miserable, just go ahead and do that. It's going to kill some of your tone, but you won't have feedback. Next, we have outdoor mode. This will change the voicing of the speaker and optimize it a little bit more for being outdoor. Another thing that outdoor mode does, it's actually super cool. This thing's really well thought out. If you do flick on outdoor mode, it actually brightens the lights on the mixer because it knows that you're out in the sunshine. So that's actually super cool, really well thought out. Just a lot of nice things that they do. Not only does it change the voicing of the speaker, but it also gives you some, better usability features for it as well. Next to that, we have PA mode again, just to optimize the voicing of it. If you leave it off, it'll stay in amplifier mode. Okay, next we have some more of the fun stuff here. First of all, you do have a USB connectivity here, it's USB-C. This is super cool. This is what brings this box alive, in my opinion. The reason I say that is if you're busking, if you're a wedding singer playing in the corner for a standing reception, if you're doing any type of cocktail hour, anything like that, or if you're my kids that are just blasting music in the music room, you can record every one of your sessions. Now, this won't multi-track record all the inputs on the back of this device, but you will be able to capture and record the main stereo output. So for me, that's good enough. Next, you also do get a return line. So if you're connected to your laptop or something like that through USB, you do get a return. So I can play music off my laptop through this. Next, we have the remote. So you might be wondering what the remote is. You can actually pop the mixer off of this device and connect it with Cat 5. We'll do that more in the demo. It does come with this Cat 5 cable for you, so you can connect your audio mixer with that. Then there's a micro SD card. Again, you can record your session to a micro SD card or out through USB. As far as I know, and all the testing I've done, you can't get the micro SD card to do any type of playback or anything like that. Next, we have your inputs. To me, they are a little bit out of order. I would prefer if like XLR1 was channel 1 and XLR2 was channel 3. I don't like how it goes 1, 2, 1, 2. But I mean, the thought process here for them is probably one musician and a second musician, and each of them have a microphone and a guitar. So it's just personal preference there. From there, we have channels 5 and 6. We have a stereo pair. You can connect any type of keyboard, drum machine, loop, playback, laptop, any of your devices there. Or you can pair it to your phone with Bluetooth. You just select that, pops up on your phone, you can pair it. Or you can use an aux cable here, a TRS cable will work for you. Beside that, we do have an effects return. So if you want to run this whole box through an external effects unit, there is effects built in that we're going to demo in a minute. But if you want to do that, you can. You can buy a third party or use their foot switch to control the effects on the unit. This will work for a 2-channel effects unit because there are 2 main channels of effects here. Then you have the headphone output. Then you have a mix out, so copy your stereo mix. Your IEC cable here with the on-off switch for the box. So right now you can see that it is powered on. I'm not plugged into any power whatsoever on the mixer. We're just going straight off the battery. Now there's a couple cool things that I want to point out about how well thought out this is. First of all, it does come with this mic stand clamp. So you can put this on your microphone stand. Works as easy as just screwing it on here with a tension screw. Then you press this big green button and then your audio mixer pops off. Now, one thing that I did when I was testing is if your whole sound system is running, say you have a musician singing and you're just helping them out, and you want to pop this out mid-performance, you can do that. If they're mid-song, you can rip the audio mixer off of this, like I did. It's not connected to anything right now, and the box will keep going as if nothing happened. Obviously, you can't turn things up or down and you can't mute them, but the whole box will still work. So maybe I'll just quickly demonstrate that now. I'll put this back on. I'll plug a microphone in. So check, check, check. 1, 2, 3. Then you can pop the mixer off. And right now, the speaker still works. So everything that we're doing, all the effects, all that is still live, and the speaker will keep going. Next, I'm going to connect my Ethernet cable here to the back of the speaker. And next we can connect this Ethernet cable right into the back of the mixer. Then the mixer just slides onto this mount here, like that. So that will easily clamp and mount to any microphone stand there. Now let's just quickly go through the controls here. So if I bring my microphone close to me, I can go select the first microphone here and adjust the volume and bring it up or down. Then I can go over to my second input here, which is the instrument input. Then there's a third input, which is an XLR input, and a fourth input that's an instrument input. Then the stereo pair, that's 5 and 6. Now, if we go over to this first microphone that we're working on again, we can go through the options. We have a 1-knob compressor, which Mackie's pretty good at doing. We have this Combi FX and tuner, so you can long press it, and it switches into tune mode, so you can go, ah, there was humming a G, I guess. Then you can switch it back. Now we're back to FX1 here, so we can single press again, and we can select the effect that we want. We can go up to something, I don't know, go through all of them here, delay and chorus, and there's overdrive. So we can choose overdrive and drive it here. These are the same for all of them, which is super cool. So you have 2 batches of effects that you can apply. And this is independent. Just because I choose overdrive here means like I can still choose a different effect on microphone 2 or input number 2. So that's super cool for that. Every input, you can select 2 unique sets of effects. So I'm going to turn this off now, go back down to none. Then for our second effects bank here, it's a bit different. It's more reverbs and stuff. So I can go large plate. There we can hear the large plate reverb there, and we can control that however we want. Now, as you dial this in, you can see that it is, and turn it down. So it's pretty customizable here. But we can flick to a snapshot, which allows us to save this into a bank. So we can go snapshot 1 and then save it if we want. Next, beside that, we have the effects loop. So this will control the effects loop that has the inputs and outputs on the back of our speaker here. Next, we have our main stereo controls here. So this is how you'd start the recording on that SD card if you plug that into the back of the speaker. Then we do get our headphone volume here, and then our main stereo output that we can control there. There's also a panic button, which I call a mute button. That'll mute the speaker for you. Then there's actually a built-in looper as well. I forgot to mention this when we were talking about the microphone inputs. So what we can do here is go 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And it will play that back for us. And you can build on it as well. And you can build on this as well just by recording right on over it and then single pressing again. You can build on this as well just by recording right on over it and then single pressing again. Then you double click to pause. Then you can click again to bring it back. And you can build on this as well just by and then you can hold it to clear it. So all that is super cool. There is a ton of stuff here. I do just briefly want to touch on the 3 things that I think are missing from this. First of all, if you connect your laptop into the USB input on the back of the speaker. Now, the cool thing is that you do get another playback device on the back of this input. It does have an input as well. So if I play music here off of Epidemic Sound, I can control it with the main stereo output, which isn't viable. So if you're playing a backtrack for something, you can do that. But there's no other input here that will control this for you. You have to control it on your computer itself. If you go to the first input, I can turn it down. Second input, turn it down. Third input, turn it down. Fourth, turn it down. Fifth, turn it down. None of those made a difference in the music that's playing. Only the main master knob does. So that's one thing that I wish they had. The second thing that I wish they had, I'm just going to stop this music now, is I wish that the headphone output that's on the back of the speaker was actually located on the mixer itself. If this mixer is mounted to my mic stand here and I'm singing and playing away, if I have headphones, it makes sense for me to have that headphone connection where I'm mixing. It doesn't make sense for me to have that headphone connection where the speaker is. I don't want a headphone extension cable running parallel to this Ethernet cable the whole run. The other thing, I actually forgot to mention this, but on the back of the audio mixer, there is a USB output. So what this will do is it will charge your phone. So it's a USB charging for your phone. That's super cool. So you have your mixer here on your mic stand with you, and you can charge your device. But if they just added a little bit more connectivity, and there might be a limitation of the Ethernet cable, I'll give them that. But then your whole USB recording that's on the back of the speaker would be there with you. So in a perfect world, I'd have that USB and the headphone jack located on the mixer itself. That way it could be with me, so I can do my own playback into this or my own recording through the USB, or I can listen with my headphones off the mixer rather than running more extensions. All of that makes a lot more sense. I think if you're already running this home run cable, that it should include the USB and headphone functionality as well. Aside from that though, this is obviously a super powerful device. It has a ton of functionality here. I think this thing knocks it out of the park, not only for buskers or anything like that. This is obviously a busking machine. You have the looper, you have the effects, you have the snapshots, you can save everything, you have compression, you have 4 different inputs, 2 microphones, 2 instrument inputs, then you do get line level inputs and a stereo pair for a drum machine, a playback device, anything like that. I think overall this thing is absolutely insane value. And then for me too, if you're busking and then you want to use this in your music room, it's more than able to do that. And you can record all your sessions super easy coming out of this. You don't need to connect it to an audio interface, anything like that. This thing is an absolute monster. I think that they really did a good job here. Now, if you are looking for pricing or specs, again, we do have links down in the description below. If you have any questions or comments on this device, please leave them down below. And if you want to see more videos like this in the future, please like and subscribe. Thank you for watching.